All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Leads to Deals podcast, where we talk about everything from leads to deals and everything we talk about leads to deals. As you guys know, I believe sales is one of the greatest sports in the world. My goal is to bring those elite world-class athletes that are in their sales journey, those guys and gals that have that same burning appetite and desire to consume these tips and tricks and to share tips and tricks on how you can make more, improve your life through the art of communication. If you find any value to your life through my podcast, please do me a favor and subscribe and show appreciation, you guys, by just liking and commenting. I would like to welcome Mr. Biggs, Nolan May, to our podcast today from Orlando, Florida, right?
Yes, sir. Appreciate you having me, bro. I really do. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, man. It's funny. We were just talking before this started, a fact that I had forgotten, but we've been monitoring each other's journeys for about 4 years now, right?
Yep, that's right. Yep.
So Orlando, Florida, I went to my very first real estate meetup type thing. Can you explain more what the purpose of that was? Because I got dragged there and then fell in love with the process, meeting guys like you that were hustlers, great mindset. What was that even called, and what did we do there?
Yeah, that was I think that was through Alex Youngblood. It was through a Facebook group, and then I guess every now and again when he touches different cities, he'll have like a little meetup. So that meetup took place. I think it was like $10 to get in at the Cromer restaurant. Got a chance to meet you, Anthony, Alex. I already knew about Anthony and Alex, through wholesaling. Like I knew that they were in my market. But yeah, that's where I met you. I remember that was like day one with you, with Anthony and Alex Vault Ventures. Yeah, you were coming in as the marketing director or something, in some kind of role when it had to do with marketing. Am I right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I had already had another company that had grown and ended up facing like regulatory headwind, is what I tell my mom. But it was a big monster company, and I was looking for a new pirate ship. And these guys were explaining to me to like how wholesaling, and they're like, oh, it's like, to me, it sounded like I was going to be standing on the floor of like a commodities trading somewhere in Chicago, and I could just get a piece of paper and I could just trade it, but I didn't actually have to pay for that piece of paper. I just had to get it. And so they explained the whole process, and I fell in love with it, man. And that was like probably week one of what's been a very unique journey, trying to come in and learn from guys and gals just like you, because you actually are on kind of the flip side as well, too. Like I've been following your journey. You're in the middle of a big flip right now, right?
Yes. It's we actually got a full price offer on that flip. 4 days on market.
Wow.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. I always believe that once you do something like such as a flip, I know a lot of people when we took that house on, they were kind of like telling us, hey, don't do this and don't do that. And I was like, I kind of want to be the nicest house on the block because I don't want to be on market for long. So we just did it right. And, 4 days, that's like crazy in this market. Usually you're hearing like 25 and up, 30 days and up. So 4 days.
Especially with the interest rates where they're at right now. So tell me about what you're real quick, and then we'll get into your story. But like, we're talking about money now. I can't get off the train. Right, so right. Walk me through just the kind of the back end of this deal for right now. What did you list it for? What did you end up selling it for? Was it a conventional FHA? Like, who was your buyer?
So yeah, I got this deal. So I can tell you how I got the deal by way of just telling somebody, about wholesaling, and it kind of intrigued them. And he seen me kind of doing it for a few years, and he finally got around to actually taking action on it. So I told him if he brought me a deal and it was a good deal, I'd buy it, and
nice.
That's what he did. He brought me a deal. We took it down at 240,000, and then we put 50,000. We went slightly over budget, I believe, around 15K, because we opened up some walls and we closed off some walls. We kind of just restructured it to make it more functional. So we put around, I want to say 60K into it. And then we listed it for 415. We got a full price offer, FHA buyer. We should be closing here in the next couple weeks, back on June the 15th, where we're 22nd right now. June the 15th should be all closed up, sealed, but that just turned me up more. It's like 10 minutes from the house. So it's like an ideal situation.
Nice.
Usually with the deals that I do, it's, always someplace I've never been, like Pensacola or Kentucky, St. Louis, places I've never ever been to. I've always wholesaled there, but whenever it's right here in my backyard, it's always super nice.
So if you could, with like crayons, and what I mean by like, just imagine somebody's listening who's never heard of wholesaling. Can you explain what your buddy did, and then how ultimately that fed you, so that way we can educate people on this life cycle and like, hey, there's multiple positions that you can insert yourself in, and you can grow to finally be a Nolan May.
For sure. So my buddy, shout out to Chris if you're watching this. So my buddy, he one day he was just asking me about the wholesaling thing, and I kind of told him it's pretty simple. Just you're gonna go under contract with someone that wants to sell a house, preferably a distressed house. You go under contract with them. I like to use easy numbers, $100,000. Let's then take that contract and then go find someone like myself or someone that flips houses. And you say, hey, I want to sell this contract to you for 115,000. You're going to take both contracts to the title company. The title company are the folks that are going to make sure that the title's clear. There aren't any liens or encumbrances on the property. And then once they determine that's clear and good to go, they'll give you a date. Once that date comes, you probably don't even have to show up as the wholesaler. You can just get a check delivered or wired. But what's going to happen is that the seller's going to come in and sign. Sometimes the buyer will come in first and sign because they're that eager to get the deal done. But pretty much they both sign. Exchanges happen as far as the property and money. You collect the difference. So I think I started at 100,000 with the seller. With the buyer, I said 120,000. So I'm taking 20,000 and putting it in my pocket. Or should I say putting it back into the business, right?
There you go. That's right. So going back now to your exact example with your buddy, this is what I love though about helping out in the community too, because like our most biggest expenses are our marketing expense. Yes. So it's like you get to educate and help people. And one of the worst things to do is to have a sweet deal and not be able to find a buyer. So you being able to inspire this kid, him find a deal, have a guaranteed buyer, make his little assignments. And it probably wasn't, like he was very happy with the assignment. Do you recall what it is, if he is?
So he didn't know what he wanted to make on it. I was like, hey, actually a funny story on the back end of that. So, yeah. So when he actually bought the deal to me, I pretty much had to negotiate the deal. He kind of was doing, just taking action and, trying to find houses. But I think he wasn't really yet ready to negotiate a price where he could make money. And so would the end buyer make money. So when I got to the property and I walked it.
He hadn't even made an offer on it yet. He just found it.
Not yet. Nope.
Okay. So he pulled you in early.
Yeah. He was early with it, so just that's my boy. Right. So
yeah.
I'm going to make sure you get paid on this. So when we went out there, we negotiated it down. I think they originally were at 290 and I got them down to 240. And once we had that offer locked up, they accepted my offer and then got seller's remorse or whatever they want to call it. Mm-hmm. And then they went ahead and said, hey, we don't want to do a deal right now. We're going to try our luck on the market. And I won't forget because I was expecting to close that deal right before my birthday. This took place in October last year. And so when they took the deal away, it kind of like shook me. I was like, damn, like what happens? But I get it, though. You want the most money for your property. I understand. So they went to the MLS, they were asking $315. I said, no one's ever buying that for $315. I just left it alone. I would check on it every month to see if it sold and it didn't sell. Fast forward to January of this year, I get a phone call from, so my buddy Chris was working with the realtor on the deal. His name's Sydney. Shout out to Sydney. Sydney calls me and he says, hey, the sellers want to sell to you now. They'll do the 240. And he said, if you could do 241, they'll definitely take it. I said, no, we're going to do 240. You kind of made me wait from October up until now. You want me to spend more money. It doesn't make sense. So I stood firm at the 240. They accepted the offer.
But now they have a realtor involved.
They had a realtor involved from the very jump. So Chris was kind of JVing with the realtor.
On market deals?
No, it was off market. So
interesting.
The owner was going through a probate.
Yes, sir.
The owner was related to the realtor's girlfriend. So the girlfriend went ahead and lobbed the deal to Sydney. Uh-huh. Sydney and Chris are getting into wholesaling. They're learning, even though Sydney's already a realtor. He's a realtor.
Yep.
He's trying to get into the wholesaling side. So they bought it to me together. And then when January came along, I realized that Chris didn't know about the deal. He didn't know that it came back into fruition. So me being just, what we say around here is keeping your face clean. I told Chris about the deal and I said, I'm gonna still make sure you get paid on it. Nice. And, so Chris never really technically had a contract on the house ever.
Yep.
But we're just gonna, take care of him how we take care of him.
That's good.
Yeah, man.
That talks about persistency too, but it's for me, like when you hear that type of story, it's like that is the roller coasters of this industry. Like, and that customer screwed themselves. And you know what ends up happening a lot of times too is you lock them in for 240. They were talking to somebody else before for 230. They call back. They're like, oh, we already signed it, agreed to sell for 240. Like, well, you know, you probably could just get more because they just want to blow up the whole deal. And then they cost that customer 6 to 7 months of their life out there, and who knows what could have happened in that time frame. Dude, I love it. How many flips have you done? Is this?
This is number 2 right now. So
good for you, bro.
I've been more focused on wholesaling, but as of recently, I got into contact with a really fire private lender. So it's like idiotic of me to just wholesale everything that I touch. So this, like I said, this one was right around the corner, 10 minutes from the house. So I went ahead and just took it down with her lending, and, you know, she's happy. Then we're going to be doing more deals. I kind of want to do more, so she'll kind of open up the bottleneck a little bit more, make me, give me more lending. But,
yes.
But this is number 2 right now. So we did one.
Congratulations.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
Dude, it's one of those things I tell people, and I know this may sound crazy because for the people who only know me from this podcast, like I have a big 12,000 square foot, like state of the art call center out here. Yes. Like I'm slinging leads. I'm in the REI space. I got self-storage facilities and commercial properties and Airbnbs, pad splits. I got a lot of stuff, but I still struggle with cap rates. And so it's like, I could not personally manage a rehab because I'm not educated on it enough yet. And so like when I see guys out there who can kind of like manage somebody and be able to go through the process like you, I always tell people just start wholesaling because you're going to get so close to these other sides. It's less exposure. It's heck of a less liability other than the marketing dollars. But then you get to cherry pick the deals for yourself because you're not going to just keep everything and flip. You're going to keep the ones that mean the most to you.
Exactly. Yep. And if it just makes sense, that the spread is there, just take it down. Like the fear was there with me too, with like what you just said with the being able to manage and all that. Because I'm not swinging any hammers or painting any walls or anything. So I was like, if I could figure out how to get this done states away, not in my backyard and never meet anyone, I could definitely take down a house right around the corner from the house. Like if I can't, I'm a boop.
Yep. How's your confidence now?
I want more.
You want more.
Yeah,
you want more. There we go.
My plan with the profits on this one is definitely to, start dialing back in with the wholesaling because I'm noticing like our deal flow. We've looked at, I want to say, because I know our lender says we can do as many loans as we want with her, but they just have to meet her criteria. Mm-hmm. So, we've looked at, I want to say about 5 houses since we bought this one, and just none of them have, made its way to the finish line.
Made its numbers.
So
I normally do this at the end, but for those who are watching and engaged now, if you have a deal in Central Florida, the greater Florida, like your backyard, how do they approach you if they have a deal that they want to assign to like a good damn dude who's going to take care of the seller, actually improve the community, go in there and put some dollars into it, and then also probably become somebody you'd be a friend with? How do they find you for that if they got deals they need to get rid of?
Couple ways. So I'll go ahead and let you know like my Instagram handle on it. It's at worldwide bigger. That's pretty easy. And then I have a business page where you can actually I'm showcasing the house that we just did from before and after that.
Oh, I saw those photos this morning, bro. It's so beautiful. You did so good.
Thank you, bro. That page is at Big Spies Houses, BIGGS buys houses. My friends call me Big, so you can just DM me and let me know what you got. I take a look at every single thing that comes to me. Even if I know it's not a deal, I'll still look at it and kind of give feedback on what I think about it. But yeah, if you got something, send it over. We're closing in less than 2 weeks.
Yeah, guys, and if you're in this space and you haven't done your first flip or you're looking at them, go check out the quality of this flip. It didn't intimidate me, but I had respect for it. I was like, damn, this is some real strong before and after stuff. I was like, man, you could tell that obviously you did an excellent job with it. So how old are you now, if you don't mind me asking, Biggs?
35. No problem.
35. All right, cool. How long have you been in the REI space?
I want to say I started back in 2018. 2018 is when I I was working for Bank of America and as a loan processor on a home equity lines of credit, if you know
Yep.
what that is.
Sure.
So I was doing that, and I had to become licensed as a loan originator. So when you become licensed, you start to learn about everything ins and outs of the real estate industry, because that's like the first place when it comes to mortgages. You're the first touch usually. And I started learning about all the shady stuff that they were doing, you know, when I was still in high school. So I was like, damn, like if I knew about this, like I would have got in and got out a long time ago if it was possible. Like, but so I started learning about all that. And a buddy of mine, we were just on our porch one day, and we started talking about real estate. And it literally started from there. We went ahead and took action and started up an LLC. And then from there, we went to a wholesaler's office, another local competitor. I'm not even sure if they're still doing their thing or if they changed their name. But we were so green. We went inside the office, and we were like, yeah, I had bought my first home at the time. And I was working in the home equity line of credit department at Bank of America. So I was like, I'm just going to pull equity out my house. My buddy had some money saved up. I was like, we watching HGTV at least once a day, a couple hours a day. We're like excited, like, yo, we're going to start flipping houses, right? And we get to this office and we sit down. They literally pull out like a binder of houses. And they're like flipping through the pages. They're showing us what price point you want to be around. And we're clueless. Like, we don't know. Like, we just want it. And they were like all in one. So they had hard money lending in there, construction, all under one roof. So we were pretty much like thinking we were in the right place. So I remember looking through the books, and as I was looking through them, I pull out my phone and I'm like going through Zillow, and I'm looking and I'm like, none of these houses are actually for sale. Like, what's going on? Like, what do you mean?
Oh, like, is it a scam? Is it a hustle? Like, yeah.
These houses are for sale. And I'm like showing my buddy. He's like, I don't care, bro. Like, they said they got houses. We gonna do this. And I'm like, all right. And we rode there with each other. And when we were riding back, it just kept sticking in my mind. Like, how the hell do they have all these houses and they're not on Zillow? Like, something's not right. And one of the people in there, they said, yeah, man, we don't even be trying to, you know, make too much money on these deals. Like, you only be looking for like 5,000. And then I was like, oh, you're a realtor. And he's like, no, I'm not a realtor. I was like, what? Like, now I'm even more confused. I'm like, what? Like, what's going on? So literally I got home that night. I was in bed and I just got on, I think Google, I want to say it was Google. And I just said how to flip houses. And something brought me to a YouTube page. And then I watched the YouTube page and I still didn't even know what was going on. So I was like, whatever. I got on Instagram because, you know, we love Instagram. And I think that's when they like started implementing the ads. So I think because I was searching for that stuff, like it popped up in my feed, an ad with these two guys standing in front of a beat up house. And they were like, we'll give you all the money you ever need for your houses and yada, yada, yada. Come on down Saturday. You know, $100, you get in here a few hours, we'll teach you, and, you know, we'll let you know how we can give you all this money. So me being who I am, I'm like, $100 ain't much, you know. This Saturday, I'm off. I'm going. It was like 8 o'clock in the morning. I pull up there. It's like maybe like 10 people there. And then the two gentlemen from the video. But I remember we were sitting in that meeting, and then they were talking about wholesaling. So they started telling me all the methods. They started bringing us on the, I'm in Orlando. So they put us in the Orange County website, and we were looking at auctions or whatever else. And he was telling me like, yeah, this is how you time it. Like, if you want to try to get one of these houses, you would just try to get there before this date. And I'm like, he's like, yeah, put magnets on your car. We buy houses, magnets on your car, put signs in the dirt. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to try it. So I immediately took action. I went ahead and bought 100 signs. I think it was $99. So another $100. And I think I paid a little bit additional for the little metal stakes that you would put on those bandit signs.
Yeah.
We went home, me and my girlfriend at the time, and we went home and I just started writing them up. Nolan buys houses, putting my real phone number on it. And we were on the weekends, I would hop out and, you know, at night and drop those things in the ground all over the city. And then fast forward, I got a phone call. And when the phone call came, it was somebody that said they wanted to sell their house. And I went to their property. By this time, I had already, you know, me and my buddy already created the LLC. So we were like worried about the wrong thing, I want to say, because we went ahead and we started buying our clothes with on it and the hats. We weren't even like doing anything yet. But I remember pulling up to this house dressed like that, like tucked in, khakis on, shoes on. And I just felt super uncomfortable. Needless to say, I did not get that deal until I called the two dudes. I can't even remember their names. It was so long ago. I called them and they came. One of them came and ended up getting the deal and, gave me a little bit of money out of it.
Oh, bet.
Yeah.
So you didn't get the deal. You called back to the conference guys, went with them back out there, or you just sent them out there?
I sent them out there and then they gave me like $5K or something. I think probably was even less than that, like $3K. But then I seen, after I learned the game, and I went back and seen what they actually made on it, I was like, oh, wow, I'm doing it. Damn. I remember in that conference, they would always say, you're not going to do this with us forever. I promise you that. Once you learn, you're going to go out there and do your own thing. And they were exactly right, because that's exactly what I did. I went out there and started doing my own thing.
Damn, from HELOC loans to that first, dude, I just picturing you in the khakis looking all uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I had a camera strap, that clipboard. I was like,
oh,
I'll never go to a house like that today. Like,
yes,
I pull up looking as casual as I can because I want to connect with the people.
So let's talk about the sales side of that then. You were doing HELOC in some capacity, right? You were in the bank. Were you in a sales capacity for the bank?
I wouldn't technically say that was sales. My sales came from before that. That was more like customer service type ish. It wasn't anything salesy.
Okay.
I just had a telephone voice, and I think that carried me a long way.
Yeah. Did you ever have sales experience before you got into the REI world?
Yes. So my first sales experience was working for a company called Dial America. It's now here in Orlando too. I don't know if they're still in business, but what I had to do was cold call, and I was selling things like Reader's Digest, things that none of us would.
Magazines.
Remember Zoo Books, Scholastic, Goosebumps, all that good stuff. I would just call strangers, and they would actually.
But that wasn't even the scam, because there's a bunch of magazine scams. That was the actual product.
I think so.
I think so. Scholastic's like real.
Yeah,
but I know what guys.
The products.
I met a lot of guys selling bullshit advertisements in magazines that they would sell, like golf magazines.
Right.
And they were just banging on people out of Orlando, calling all these companies for marketing, pay for ads. And they fill out this magazine. They just drop it off at like one place. So after doing the HELOC, Nolan, and getting it from there and that journey that you were just describing, where did you go next?
So from the HELOC journey, so forgot to mention I was in the military for 10 years. I'm medically separated sergeant in the U.S. Army. So as I was transitioning out of the Army, I got into the HELOC thing, started as a loan processor, worked my way up to a mortgage underwriter. And then I think that's when I made like the most money corporately. That's when I kind of felt the confidence to jump ship. I took the leap. And that's when I kind of really, really, really started going in on wholesaling, like really investing thousands of dollars
all in
my company,
and
try to grow that. So ever since then, that happened last year. So that's what I've been doing since, man.
But you mentioned Kirby for a bit, right?
Oh, right. Kirby. I did Kirby. That was right around when I want to say I was around 18, 19. And I remember going into that job interview and I got the job on the spot. So it was like, I was hyped. And then when I actually seen what the job was, I was like, oh, like this is for real. So what that entailed was you start off, you tell all your friends and family that you have this great vacuum and, do all these things.
Yes.
Like your first clients that they want you to do, I guess they kind of want you to break the ice with them. And then you'll start going to strangers' houses. They'll probably pile you all up in a van and you'll hit one subdivision of some random community, and you'll just start knocking doors and offering services. So that made me, cause I feel like I'm introverted naturally, that made me kind of break out of my shell, to kind of have to speak to people. That's where my sales came from.
Very, very similar story. I have the highest respect for Kirby. Knives guys, the guys who sell knives.
Yes.
If you sell vacuums, if you sell knives, and if you can feed yourself selling timeshare, like you've been in timeshare and you stayed in it, those three right there are my favorite recruiting sources. I was lucky enough to have my first sales job at 20, selling timeshare in a place called Williamsburg, Virginia. That ended up being like an 11, 12-year journey in that industry.
Yes.
But those things that they teach you in Kirby, it's just way more than entry-level sales. I mean,
Yes.
those tactics you'll never lose. It'll be with you for the rest of your life and your sales career.
Exactly. Yeah, they teach some really good stuff because the Kirby vacuums are not cheap. So in order to sell those and have somebody not want to go buy a $50 vacuum and come buy your $1,000 vacuum.
Yeah. And also, vacuums aren't sexy.
Right.
You're selling something that's not sexy. All right, cool. So for everybody out there, man, we know that if they're in Orlando and they got deals, you're the guy that they should turn to, reach out to them. If they probably want some help or some advice, they should reach out to you as well, too.
Yes.
We were talking off camera a moment ago. I have a buddy of mine that's moving back to Orlando, and you're big on like the local community and the guys and gals and kind of your circle. And so I know that you are cordial and nice to me the very first moment I've met you, and we've spent some time working together throughout the years as well, too. So I guess at the end, man, I kind of like to just find out for you, for all the newer guys and gals that are entertaining going into wholesaling right now, where there is a level of it's tighter. It is tighter today than it's been in the 4 years since I've known you, Nolan. That's my opinion.
Yes, agreed. I definitely think so. Like even the deals that I get sent, you know, I'm on a few buyers list. Those deals are just really, really tight, bro. Like, and 4 years ago, a roof would probably cost you $7-8 grand. Now roofs are costing you 12, 13. You know, on your standard 1,500 square foot house. So wholesalers are not realizing that, I think, you know, but yeah, you're right. The deals are tight. Like 100K spread used to be nice back then, but now it's like not even worth your time.
Yes, I understand. Yep. For you though, what's your advice you're giving to somebody who's just starting out, you know, really looking to get into this space?
I would say, just starting out, just know like you can make a lot of money doing this, but like, don't think that it's easy. You know, it's a very simple business, but it's not easy. So my thing is just, you know, take action, fall in love, embrace the suck, like understand that things are going to happen that are out of your control. But I just would encourage you to keep going, because once you see that first check, no matter how big or small it is, that's going to like unlock something in your brain. That's going to like tell you like, hey, like my time at this 9 to 5 for, you know, $18, $20 an hour at some point, you know, it's for now, but it's not forever. Like it'll unlock something in your brain to just realize your potential is much higher. So my thing is just get started, stay consistent, and stay hungry. That's it. Don't get too comfortable.
Yeah. If somebody told me your story and I didn't know you, I'd be like, oh, that guy's going to be wildly successful.
Appreciate it.
Because my advice I always tell people is almost identical to your journey, which is like, hey, listen, when you're starting out and you don't have any money, the best thing you can do is plant yourself in somebody else's office.
Yes.
Like, let's just be honest, be upfront with the guy. Like, hey, listen, I want to learn from you. I want to see. And even those day or twos that you spent in that one guy's office, what that did to open your mind and understand that leg of the industry. And then you did it again in action with the people that you went to that event with, where like, okay, I went to that event and then I actually got to watch that in action. Yep. And then you started at the bottom, which Alex Kazada, one of my dear business partners, good friends, a mutual friend of ours, he did it the exact same way. He was the bandit sign.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna say, God, man, dude, I'm telling you, when we were younger and dumb, like I was in a completely different vertical. We would be partying throughout the evenings, and he would leave when he shouldn't be, but he would leave at 1 o'clock in the morning and go putting out signs in the middle of the night in the roughest of areas, solo. So that way, you know, that he'd have a good morning traffic before the city came and took it down. So bandit signs still work.
They still work, bro.
For sure.
Believe it or not, they still work. Like, and that would be like, and another thing with people getting started off, like, is either two things you're going to need is either going to need time or you're going to need money. So if you don't have the money and you have the time, like that you should be doing things like that, you know, bandit signs, even handwriting letters, knocking on doors. But if you got the money, come see, you know what I mean? I ain't going to say too much, but you know, you could figure out other ways of marketing that can get you where you need to be.
Yeah, and I'm a proponent too of people learning the ropes cold calling for a long time before they even reach out to a company like Lamasu,
Exactly.
because the sales skills that this industry needs. The number one reason, real quick, Nolan, I went into this industry is I started when I met Alex and he told me about this, and I was like, oh, this sounds like sexy.
Yeah.
I said, oh, the competition's got to be crazy. Like this has got to be like Wall Street and all these crazy guys. So I went on all the websites in Orlando, said, sell my house fast Orlando. And I filled out a form, and I filled out a form, and I filled out a form. I must have filled out 20 forms.
No one called.
Maybe in 3 days, 6 of those people called me back. All of them with dog shit presentations.
Right.
All of them went into it to disqualify. No character, no charisma, no good call, consistency, nothing. I said, wow, these guys are spending money on PPC, which is paid ads.
Yep.
And they're spending money and they're treating leads like this. I have at least more honor to the value of a lead. Just by the way I would treat a lead, I would dominate these guys, let alone having some level of sales skills. So I think the REI space is highly disruptible. I think that for those guys and gals that are out there right now, whether you're selling HELOCs, whether you're doing whatever, there is a beautiful opportunity in this industry. And if you want to see what the fruit of your labors can be, you have to go check out his Instagram. This flip that he just did right now, I'm telling you, is gorgeous. And post-production, guys, I want to show some of those after photos in this podcast because, dude, I'm really proud of you. I'm really thankful for your time today, Nolan. And I look forward to being able to get to know you even better over time. And I wish you continued in the utmost success.
Thank you, bro. Same to you, Scott, man. Thank you for having me on, man. It's always been a pleasure being around you, bro.
You're the man. I appreciate it.
All right, man. Take care.
All right, have a good one.